Hey there, it's Martha, and if you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. This is my monthly check-in video. It's a little bit of, I do a bit of retrospective of last month, what I'm looking forward to in this month, how I did on my wax goals. So it's a little bit of everything. I will timestamp this one. So if you're not interested in hearing numbers and how much wax I have and what I've used up and all that stuff, you can skip around. I will try to run it this way where it's my wax goals, numbers, how I did, then talk about what I read since that's the way I go, and then talk about how did I do using up some of my Bath and Body Works that I wanted to use up, what I'm going to work on this month, and then talk about some favorites and just reflection. So that's usually how I run this video. I do this every month, so if you're interested in hearing more, then stick around. I've been talking a lot at work, so I might stop and take some sips of water here as I go. But let's start off with how I did this month. So my starting number for wax was 1,073. In August, I ended up with 1,041. So that was also my September 1st starting number. 46 units came in and 78 units went out. So my high point in September was 1,087. I ended the month at 1,009. So really, really happy about that. What made up the 46 that came in was 16. I think it was 16 was my number for Teddy Bees as far as what I purchased in the pre-order. Then I had some Scentsy, which I did some hauls, and then friend mail that came in this month. So that is the 46. Now the 78 I used up a lot of it and friend mail went out. So a little in and out. And then how am I doing with vendors? Let's see. Scentsy, still the largest grouping as far as company goes with 210 bars. Teddy Bees with 123. I should really try to bring that number below 100. I mean, I don't know. I think I really shouldn't have more than 100. I think in my mind, I've really probably 100 should be your cap, but it's so hard. Knowles Farm Scents, 58. Sassy Girl Aroma, 61. Rose Girls, 55. L3 Waxy Wonders, 44. Zape, 48. And Lavender and Speckles, 40. So that's kind of is the largest of the vendors that I have. And what has helped me so far, at least really since June, I think my strategy when I did a no buy in June, and I think I was able to keep that for 6 weeks, has really been planning out the rest of the year, what I'm allowing myself, to purchase from. So Teddy Bees was part of that. I had thought I was going to do Second and Spruce, but after going through all of the wax that I had, I realized by the time I get it, I'm not going to really have a chance to warm it because I also want to warm the older stuff first, right? And I had so much Second and Spruce from fall, winter that I was well, then I'm just ordering it to keep it for a year. And, it's not wax that needs to cure. And really, ultimately, I'd love to be able, and sorry if you watch my videos and I sound like a broken record, but I'd love to be able to really use stuff within the season. Have some carryover, a little carryover is fine. But really kind of going through it. So it's somewhat always fresh. I mean, maybe a few months old, maybe 6 months old. And again, with Teddy Bees, I like to let it sit for a year, but maybe it doesn't have to, but really going through it. So my wax for the most part is less than a year or just a little over a year or about a year old. And that's the hope. And so I think for next year, as I'm starting to think about 2025, is thinking about understanding what pre-orders are there that are coming, what I'm expecting, what vendors I'm expecting, maybe what vendors I want to keep, thinking that way. So some vendors, they may have 3 pre-orders a year, some maybe 4, some maybe every other month, and just kind of understanding that schedule and then saying, okay, I don't have to buy from every pre-order. I can skip some. It doesn't mean I love them any less. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy the wax. It's just, it could just be how much I already have, how much I gravitate toward that wax. So, that's how I'm kind of thinking of 2025 a little bit. But I will tell you, I did dream. I did have a dream of me literally kind of going back and forth in my mind. Like in my dream, I'm justifying why I should buy from the Lavender and Speckles pre-order that I think is hitting right about now, because there's 2 scents in there that I really want, but the drawer is full. And I had decided I was only doing 1 more pre-order at the end, before the end of this year. And I've already chosen who that is. So I was like, in my dream, I'm like, but it's just 2 or 3, tubs of wax. But I feel that what works for me, and to really stick with it, is kind of thinking about that, is having a plan and sticking to that plan. Otherwise, if I give myself an out or I'm a little willy-nilly about it, I will do it. And I love Lavender and Speckles, but I still have a lot of the last pre-order. So it's, again, thinking about, well, when am I going to use those 3 other scents that I want? Knowing too that Beth is fantastic about bringing scents back. Like, her scent lists are always so long and so fabulous that I'd rather use up a lot of what I have and then just kind of not go big again, but they'll come back. And so just have to keep that side of the argument won. That like, nope, stick to the plan, Martha. So that's how I'm doing with my wax. And so I'll definitely be under 1,000, and I'll definitely end up less than I started with, from being mindful all year long. This is, I've been doing this all year long, of being mindful and skipping pre-orders and not going for everyone, and, saying no to Rose Girls for this whole year, and not buying from some vendors for this whole year because I have so much. And so next year, I think I'm going to kind of keep my list to probably, I don't know, maybe 6. I'm not sure yet. And then in either December or January, probably January, it might be my cleanup month as well, where I have a lot of onesie twosies. I think I have like 40 vendors in my spreadsheet, but a lot of those are like, I have like 1, 6, 5 units, and kind of cleaning that out a little bit. I should probably do it in December. I don't know. I probably should, so I'm not starting 2025 with, onesie twosies in my spreadsheet. Yeah. So I think I just talked myself into it. So those are the numbers. What else has gone on? Let me just do a little reflection, I think, of the month. And I'll insert some little videos here. I know I did take some footage. I was going to do a vlog and then I didn't. So I have some footage of some beautiful days in September. I think like the first week of September, my daughter and I went down to the beach and we went to get some bread in Pescadero. I did mention that in a video, and some of you were asking, that live in the area, were asking about the bakery, but really had a great time. And that was part of September. Was, if I had to give it a theme, I would title it letting go. Letting go of a lot of shouldas, letting go of like a to-do list that never ends, and spending time with my daughter, and spending time exploring and just having fun, or just going for a drive for the sake of going for a drive because it's nice out, because the weather is beautiful. And I would categorize September as a month of letting go, like shedding some of that shoulda, need to, all that stuff. I mean, yes, there's things we need to do, but like, there's no YouTube police. There's no one saying like, you got to watch a video within, 3 days of something coming out, or you have to watch every single one, or, and I'm such a people pleaser that does it, like, kind of eats away from me. eats away at me. And, it's a little bit like, it's okay because you can't do all the things and you can't be everything for everyone. And I feel like I ended the month being okay with that, like feeling okay, like letting, like literally letting go and being okay with that and going back to, I have my yoga mat out here. So have I been doing yoga every day? No, I have not, but it's out and I have been here and there. And on mornings that I wake up super stiff, yes, I'm on this mat and I'm doing my twists and my sun salutations and my down dogs and all of that stuff. So it's down here, so I can't. So there's one less challenge, one less justification on why later it's ready to go. And so there's been more of that. Now I think I'm struggling with making it a routine, but it's better than I was in August, right? So it's progress, all in the right direction. And by the letting go too of, all of the to-dos that are self-imposed, they're not really need to-dos or have to-dos. They're just what I think I should be doing, and making some more time for things that I enjoy. So it could be, I did some photography this month. I'm doing I have two gigs, I'll call them, in October. So, that's a lot of fun. And so something I'm looking forward to. And the other thing, I'll talk about when I get my book, so I don't fly off on different tangents. So that's the thing, doing more of things that bring me joy. And maybe I'll talk about my favorite thing right now. Because things that bring me joy, as well as doing just creativity. I had an old planner from 2023. And what I've been doing is just kind of covering the pages with some gesso and just using it now as a creative journal, right? Just covering it up with cardstock and stamping, doing stencils, just playing with paints and watercolor, and just playing while I watch a YouTube video. And so sometimes I may not comment because I'm doing other things. Sometimes it's in the background, but it's just like letting go that I have to comment on everyone, that have to sit there completely concentrating on a video, and making more time to do multitasking on things that I can, and just playing. And so every day at the end of the day, I go into my planner and I got my washi tape, and I got my little stickers, and that brings me joy at the end of the day. And planning, the next day and my to-dos. Also writing down my to-dos. So this was my first year where I don't have a bullet journal. Bullet journal I've been doing since 2015. And what I liked when I'm doing it is or different things that I've done is really writing all the things I need to get done. I feel like I do have a little ADHD where I'm easily distracted. If you haven't noticed, I go off on tangents even in these chatty videos. And so writing down all the things that need to get done. One, I get a sense of accomplishment when I just crossing them off. But two, it helps me stay on task. So even though I'm not using a bullet journal, I am in some ways. This is the Sterling Ink Common book. So I can use it kind of in the same way. It doesn't have dailies. But, I started a to-do. I started a to-do for October. So it's where I could just do a brain dump of all the things that need to get done. And it kind of keeps me in focus. So jumping around here, I will share a favorite of mine since I do love planners. Oh my gosh, I have so many planners that I just bought another one thinking, maybe I'll do a bullet journal. But I did get a Hobonichi Cousins for 2025, and I'm going to use that for a memory keeping type of book. So, I will use kind of these stickers, for a little bit of memory keeping, like what happened that day. Did I vacuum that day? And having these cute little Coffee Monsters Co. of stickers and washi tape and, cute little things like this, that you know, that I have fun doing, and it's kind of a nice thing at the end of the day, a little therapeutic for me, whether it's that creative journal where I'm just kind of messing around in there, or my planner. But this is the Coffee Monsters ink, so I'll say this is a favorite. I'm waiting for another company that's similar to this called Hubman and Chub Girl. I can't wait to get those planner stickers because they look so adorable. So that is a little bit of September and how it went for me. So it's letting go and having a little bit more fun. Speaking of letting go, let's go to my kind of project Use It Up, and then I'll finish off with books. I had these two. I had the Open Sky and the Honey Wildflower that I wanted to use up. So how did I do? I got my little Post-it note here from last month. With the Open Sky, in the mist, I had 5.1 ounces, and now I'm down to 2.5. But literally, it's like right at the bottom. It's right at the bottom of this label, and the line was up here. So I've used that much. I've literally used almost the entire thing. This just needs a couple more spritz, I think, as room spray, and it's done. So I'm going to call it done for now. And then Open Sky. This is completely empty. This one, I had 3.5 ounces at the beginning of September, and now it's 1.4, which is basically, I guess, the weight of the bottle of 1.4 ounces. And then with the Honey Wildflower, I did pretty good. So this one, in the lotion, I had 5.7 ounces, and now I'm down to 2.4. I could tell it's down to here, and I didn't mark it, but it was like up here. So I used quite a bit in October. And then on this one, I could barely see where the Sharpie is. I used right up here, and now it's down to here. And so that is, let's see, honey. The mist was 6.9 when it was up here, and now it's down to 2.4. So just a little bit left. I mean, this will be done very, very soon, but I'm moving to a different Use It Up, a different scent anyway. I have from Victoria's Secret Lavender and Vanilla, and I have basically almost half a bottle left. So I did weigh these, and in the mist I have 6 ounces out of 8.4. And then in the body lotion, I have 3.4 ounces in here. It's actually down here. I can see it. So this is hardly anything left. I definitely have more fragrance mist than anything else. And then Sweet Whiskey. I love this scent. Sweet Whiskey, also a little less than half of the fragrance mist. So fragrance mist. So 5.4 ounces of the mist, and 5.8 ounces of the lotion. So I have more of this. So those are the two that I want to make a big dent in or use it up by the end of October. And in picking those, I went through my scents. And you guys, this is, I hate to show this because it feels so wasteful, but this is going in the garbage. This is going in the garbage. Most of it is used, so it's not like, I mean, I've got like this much left of this. This is Sunrise Woods. And the reason I've just decided to like dump it is because I sprayed these and it's so much alcohol. I mean, all I'm getting really is alcohol. And then once the alcohol dissipates, it's just a few seconds, but then it's like, oh, I can barely smell these. So yeah, there's a bag full. And lesson learned that I need to buy less. I need to buy less so that I can really enjoy what I have. I have and will be doing my perfume collection. And I went from like not having any perfumes to having, I don't know how many are in there. I don't know, 30, 35 maybe. 40? I really don't know. And it's like I'm not enjoying it because I'm trying to use up this stuff. And so I really haven't been putting on my perfumes unless it's a perfume that just really works together. For example, my fairy tale lotion from Bath and Body Works works really nicely with my YSL Libre, right? So that's an example. Or this one, forgetting the name, starts with an M, is a lavender vanilla scent. So that is an easy combination to do with this and the perfume. But for the most part, it's not so simple. So I have a garbage bag of fragrance mists that just are no good anymore, and lotions that don't smell like they should. So that just goes back to everything in my life. I really want to try to be more thoughtful in my purchases so I don't feel like I'm wasting wax or wasting, fragrance mists and things like that, or wasting money on buying things and then not being able to enjoy them because I have so much. A lot of times when you have so many things, not only do you feel overwhelmed, but you can't truly appreciate, it's like how do you pick favorites if you have like 50 things, it's like versus really enjoying and appreciating the few. And that's how I'm kind of looking at wax and also my fragrance mists. I did though just buy some fragrance mists from a company I've never tried before. So I will be doing a little mini haul on that. But I think it was time, again, letting go, right? I think if there was a theme for September, even though today is October 1st, it is like letting go and letting go. I can't recoup that money, but it's also taking up space. It's creating clutter. It's no good anymore. And it's okay to let it go. So that is that. So let me talk about books now. And I think I've covered everything. All right. My camera needs a break, so I'll be right back. Okay, as far as books go, I read 3, and I literally could have, if I wasn't editing my melting basket video, would have finished this one and called it 4 for October, but I'm so close to finishing this one. This is The Love of My Afterlife. What I have found with reading a physical book is I just don't make time for it. I can do audiobooks because I'm listening to it in the car, or I'm, it's in my ear as I'm doing chores or walking or, other things, but finding time to sit and read it's hard for me. Also, when I read, a lot of times, depending on when I'm reading, I get very sleepy, like right away. I was reading some of this after lunch and I'm like, it's the food coma, right? If I read this before bed, and it's not that it's a boring book. It's actually quite cute, but it's just like my eyes just get heavy and tired. So I've definitely switched to like 80% audiobooks. The other thing that I want to do in October that I didn't do in September is sample books. I feel like had I done that, I probably would have read more books, but because let me put it this way, I read some books that I probably wasn't in the mood for, but because, my library hold was up and I was like, okay, I'll read another romance, even though I've read now like 3 in a row and I kind of miss reading a mystery thriller. And I feel like I need to be okay with DNFing a book, not because it's bad, but maybe I'm just not in a mood for it. I think there's a book that I'll talk about in a second, which I feel like any other time would have been a perfect book. I probably would have rated it higher. I think it's a good book, but I just wasn't in the mood for it. And so I feel like if I'm going to read, I have 6 books in October that I'd like to read. One being a suggestion that was given to me here in the wax community by Jessica called the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. So I do have that in my to read in October, but there's 6 other books, or that's including, so 5 other books besides that I'd love to read in October. But I think what I'll do this time that I haven't done in the past is just sample. If it's not grabbing me right away, I'm going to set it down. If I like it, I think it's just like, I just need to be in the mood for it. And I am not right now, versus straight up DNF where it's just like, oh no, I'm terrible about terrible about DNFing books, because once I've started reading and I've invested some time, it's like, well, I want to know what happens. Even though it's not a great book, but I still want to know what happens. So I think I've only DNF'd probably 4 books in the past 3 years. And one I got pretty far, and then I'm like, I'm kind of hate reading this, and I literally stopped, and I need to be okay with that a little bit more, and sampling more versus like, just kind of getting through it. So I'll get to the one that I was referring to right now. It's called The Sicilian Inheritance by Joe Piazza. That is a book that otherwise I would have loved probably any other time. Even my Storygraph read personalized suggestion says, because I've loved these other books, which I did, you should devour this book, which I probably should have. And I liked the book. I really did. I enjoyed it. I think it could be a book that many of you would like. So The Sicilian Inheritance by Joe Piazza. It's a book that has all the things that I like. So great sense of place. So it took place in Sicily. So you get to really feel like you're there, and there's some talk about food and how good it is. And so like all of that is like, yes, has strong protagonists that I like. So it's a book about really female empowerment, resilience of women, overcoming really tough times. All of that is like, yes, yes, yes. Martha, you would love that. Dual POVs and timelines. So we have a historic timeline that's happening like in the 1920s, which is the main character of the current timeline's like grandmother, I believe, in Sicily, in this very small town in Sicily. And there's there's some murder mystery. I mean, it's got all the things. So I liked it, but because I think I just wasn't like fully in the mood for it, I gave it like a 3.5, which I think, again, I think I was just rating it hard more for the mood than anything else, because I think it's a good book. I know. So I just need to be like, read it when you're really in the mood for it, not just because the library hold came up. The one that then the other 2 books that I read, I was into. So The Sicilian Inheritance was the last book I read. Second to last book was called Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and that is a romance. I think I'm a little romanced out a little bit, but this one is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez is a heartwarming and uplifting read that will resonate with fans of small-town romances, those who enjoy stories about embracing simplicity and community, and anyone looking for a feel-good love story that celebrates the beauty of finding joy and the purposes in unlikely places. So yes, so the main characters here are from 2 different worlds. One is from kind of a rich family, doctor, surgeon, I think, or doctor. Another one is a carpenter, small town. For all intents and purposes, they just run in different circles, but they find love. And then the book is really about the challenges, of being from 2 different worlds, 2 different places, all of that stuff. But I did like the sense of community from the small town. I really like this book, and this was the first book from Abby Jimenez that I have read. I've heard great things about her, so I have like the follow-up to this one, which I think is not following these 2 characters, but I think it's following a supporting character, like a book about them. So I do want to read more of that. I gave this one a 4.75. I really enjoyed that one, and it was a romance. Then the first book I read at the beginning of the month, since I'm going backwards here, it was Iron Flame, and that is part 2 of the very famous, I think, book called The Fourth Wing. So it's the Hyperion, I think it's the Hyperion series is what it's called. This is book 2 of that series. Fourth Wing was the first one. Iron Flame was the one I just finished. That was a 28-hour audiobook. So I guess getting 3 books done is not bad when one of them was 28 hours. I mean, I do read it at like 1.5, 1.75 speed. but still a lot of time. And I really did enjoy that book. I loved Fourth Wing. I thought the second one I thought it was just as good. I think it's gotten maybe a little lower rating than the first one. I think some people were saying they wanted more dragons in that one. I think there's plenty of dragons. So I enjoyed it. It's at a cliffhanger, so I got to keep going. I got to keep going on that one. Iron Flame, I gave a 4.5 star. Yeah, it's just a continuation of the story. This is a romantasy. So if you like romance and fantasy, I suggest you start with Iron Flame. I think you'll really like it. I think it's a bestseller and a book that was talked about high and low a year ago for good reason. So those are the books I read. I think I made this a lot shorter. I actually filmed this already once, and it was so long, and I went on so many windy roads, and I forgot to mention some things. I'm like, let's do it one more time, Martha. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm really looking forward to October. I feel lighter. Like I said, letting go in September was a good thing. On the other side, I feel a lot lighter. I feel better. I'm happier, and it's good. So sometimes things happen for a reason, and you got to go through the hurt and the sadness and the bittersweetness of it all, and then end up on the other side. So I'm excited. I'm excited about my October basket. I'm excited about Halloween. I'm excited about October, and I'm taking a trip. It's a work trip, but I'm tagging on some vacation days after it so I can go explore. And lots of things that I'm doing for my well-being, taking care of myself. And it's not perfect, but I'd rather do, something over it being perfect, right? Even though I'm not doing yoga every day, I'm doing it some days, and I might not be walking every day, but I'm walking. And so I'm not not getting down on myself for it not being perfect yet. It will never be perfect, but it's good, and it's good enough right now. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you have, I know, there's the hurricane, and now there's more tropical storms coming. So I really do hope you are doing well. I hope you're safe. I hope you get some, I don't know, what's the word? Yeah, I just hope we don't have a kind of Hurricane Helene again. I don't know what's coming, but I do know there's some more storms coming. I've had some friends affected by it. So I hope October is better than September for those of you that have been suffering through really terrible, terrible things. And there's always a brand new day. I'm just grateful to be here, and thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.